Here's what the first 24 hours home with a newborn looks like. And with 4 other kids. Heads up, that ride home from the hospital with your brand new newborn baby is going to be an anxious one. Even though we're well seasoned, I still get nervous with this. Right when we get home, we ask the grandparents to bring over the kids immediately. We miss them terribly, and they were so excited to meet their new baby brother. We've had our kids back to back, and it's always super intimidating when we bring home a new baby because we think, how are we going to do this? But then we see them all together and we realize we're going to be okay. My 1-year-old, I don't think he knew what to make of it. And then just expect a lot of snuggles. Honestly, you're going to be wearing the baby, holding the baby, snuggling with the baby, skin to skin with the baby, trying to establish breastfeeding if that's the route you're going to go. Have food prepared ahead of time if possible. Dishes are still going to exist, so I highly suggest doing paper plates during this time. And while mom rests and feeds the baby, dad needs to be taking care of the older kids. When you have other kids, like, life has to keep going, so we do their whole bedtime routine. Once we get the baby to bed, I am adamant about taking a shower. Going to the bathroom takes 10 minutes. If you know, you know. I'll do a whole video on postpartum stuff. We're going to the bathroom. But anyways, I make sure to do my skin and hair routine. Just, it takes 5 minutes. It makes me feel more normal. And then here is the hard part about having newborn: going to bed, because you will immediately be woken up. Newborn babies need to eat every 2 to 3 hours. So even if your baby is sleeping, if it's been past 2 to 3 hours, you're going to need to wake them up to feed them. So the hardest part for me during this stage is establishing breastfeeding. Those first few days you have what's called colostrum, which is a very different texture than milk. It doesn't flow out the same way as milk does. And my huge 10-pound babies are just not interested in it. They want the milks. Every lactation consultant always advises me to supplement at this point because my baby's not getting enough weight or peeing and pooping enough. Because I want to establish breastfeeding and have them get my colostrum, I do what's called SNS. That syringe right there is filled with donated breast milk. There is a tube that looks like a wire that we slip into baby's mouth while he's on the breast, so he's getting the best of both worlds. Because I'm the one breastfeeding and I'm the one who just gave birth and really need to rest, my husband tries to do everything else, and that means change the diaper, swaddle, and put the baby back to sleep. And then the cycle repeats all night long, so you decide when you want to get up in the morning. We have 4 other kids, so they're the ones who decide when we get up in the morning. And then I strive to do just a 5-minute morning routine just to feel a little bit more awake and separate the day and night. Because we have such a large family, we have to keep these systems in place when it comes to maintaining the house. In those first few days, you are in survival mode, so our older kids love it because they get a lot more screen time than normal, and I don't feel guilty about it for a second, okay? Because we have 3 of our kids who are 3 and under, my husband divide and conquer when it comes to putting them down for their naps. And then again, it's just more breastfeeding, trying to establish breastfeeding, and this is what it looks like when I breastfeed now. It's pretty chaotic, but I truly don't mind. I mean, listen to that laughter. Because laundry is one of the biggest things that piles up so quickly, the older kids are in charge of sorting and putting away their own clothes. My husband really takes over when it comes to the older kids, so I can recover from birth and establish bonding with a newborn baby. And then we are just outside, and that is what we do for the remainder of the day. We are so grateful for our backyard during this time because it is where we've spent the majority of our time during the newborn stage. And then again, we kind of just need to stay on track with our big family. So it's lunchtime, and then of course more breastfeeding. But here's where it's hard to do the SNS. We have 4 other kids, but I need my husband to help me during this time. So it's really stressful until my milk comes in. But once it definitely gets easier breastfeeding. Then he goes down for a nap, and then maybe one of us takes a nap. We'll see. But that's the 24 hours.